Morning.
Yeah. How's everyone feeling?
Great. How are you feeling?
Good, good. It's cold in the basement. That's the problem with the AT.
Is that a great thing? It's super hot outside.
Yeah. Except for when you haven't been outside yet. Then it's always a challenge.
Stop being a hobbit. Go outside.
Yeah, I know. I wanted to. It's just haven't had the opportunity. Meetings, back-to-back meetings, and then also had to eat. Just life. We have 2 people viewing. Please leave a comment. Let us know how the sound is, how the video looks like, if you're having any issues, and just making sure everyone can hear us.
I don't know if it's just me, but no sound is coming through.
No sound?
Let me make sure my sound on my computer's up loud enough, though.
Hey, Steve-O. I would say hi to Cody, but he's actually here with us.
Hey.
Oh, there it goes. Okay, sound works.
Sounds good?
You say hi to Cody, but you wouldn't say hi to me? What is this?
I never need to say hi to you.
I thought that was important.
I've known you for so long that the highs are just assumed. So are the lows. All the lows.
Ooh. I got deep.
You're savage.
Real fast.
I love you, Lionel. All right.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. My sound might be a bit off today.
It's okay. Thank you, everyone who's joining us. I saw Alex. I saw Steve-O there. It is great. We are here for another live stream. I don't know what to say. I'm just excited to do this. This week joining us is Cody. Cody has been doing a lot of editing for Raze. He's slowly getting integrated into the entire Haunted Castle Gaming team. I'm really excited about this because Raze is looking like such a pretty set, and a lot of that is thanks to Cody making sure that we are writing cards that are readable. So thank you, Cody. Oh,
Hey,
JC's joining us. Last minute there.
My boy. Let's go.
Yeah, I hope sounds good. JC's connecting to audio. So what are we talking about this week? So as a team, we're going to be talking about the pros and cons of designing a game that's both competitive and casual, some of the things we have to think about along the way, some of the challenges we have as we come and go. Hey, JC, thank you for joining us.
Hello.
Hey, JC.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about today. Next week, we're going to be talking about how to lower the learning curve so that it's easier for new players to get into the game. We're going to be talking about something called the FOO strategy, first order operation. This is really important, and this is going to explain quite a few strategies of why we design certain cards the way we do. So that's going to be a really cool topic. I'm really excited about today's. But before we jump into this, remember, as always, we are going to be doing a trivia question. So first person to answer the trivia question is going to be getting a promo. Just got to look through my vault to figure out which promo I want to give away this week.
The vault.
Yeah, that's what I'm calling it now. It's the vault.
It's probably a cardboard box.
You know, we still have a bunch of these Amber Dragons, and I would love to see more people sharing their Canada spirit by flying around in the skies with this dragon. So first person to answer this this trivia question will be getting that. I know that the trivia questions aren't always geared to new people who are joining us. So if you don't know a lot about the game and you can't answer these trivia questions, it's okay, because we're going to be doing a random draw, which will be giving away 2 booster packs and the promo card. And all you need to do is leave a comment below. So if you want to participate, then all you need to do is leave a comment. So, hey, Katie. Hey, Bradley. Sound is good. Lionel is low. We talked about Lionel being low.
Also the highs. Hi.
So the trivia question for today is, when Alpha first launched, it only had 2 rares available. What were those 2 rares? So that's the trivia question. I don't know why I can't post it. So what were the 2 rares when alpha first launched. Save and publish. So if you're watching, feel free to answer the question. First person to get it will get the Zamber Dragon. And then to enter our draw, all you need to do is leave a comment. I'll be keeping track of people. And once at the end of the cast, we'll be doing the draw to see who gets that. All right, so the other thing I want to announce, every Friday, JC does spoilers for Rays. Today he spoiled Arcane Blast. I super love this card. If you're a Street Fighter fan, you might enjoy the art on this card too. There were some inspirations being drawn from other media, but I love the card. I think it's very functional in a lot of decks. So if you want to check that out, go to the Genesis website under articles. You should see JC's post, or you could just check out our Facebook page. And then a few last things before we jump into the topic. Thank you to all our Patreon supporters. All the packages for this month should be sent out. If you haven't got yours yet, let me know so I can make sure I get that to you. So the list, Austin, Alex, Brad, Brandon, Cody, Corey, Freed, Jocelyn, Jordan, Joshua, Kyle, Lionel, Luke, Mackenzie, Pat, Sean, Stan, Steven, Stevo, Taz, Vincent, Will. And a special shout out to Corey and Will. And I'll be explaining why in a little bit. But thank you so much, everyone who supported us. Remember, if you haven't signed up for Patreon, next month we're going to be giving out Epiphany and Revenge of the Phoenix. Let me pull those out. They look super awesome. So if you want to get your hands on these, you will be getting 3 Epiphanies. And if you're in the middle or any of the upper tiers, you'll be getting 2 of these Revenge of the Phoenix promos. So thank you to all our Patreon members. Of course, join us on Discord at any time. Town Hall is going to be on August 3rd, and we're going to be talking. I want to get feedback from you about what we could be doing to help the community grow as we grow as a company, as we grow as a game. What are the things you want to see in the pipeline for the community growth? All right, let's jump into this conversation. We're talking about designing a game that's played both in the casual space, the competitive space. How do we keep these people in mind? And what are some of the strengths and weaknesses of designing in this space? So I'm going to start by asking, Steve, just to respond to yours, it wasn't the Primordial and the Angel. Those weren't the first 2 rares released. So what has been, I think, one of the best things about designing, let's start very easy. What's been one of the best things about designing cards for Genesis when it comes to thinking about the players? So who wants to tackle that first? Empty silence.
Can we repeat the question, Alec?
So it's a hard thing to think about. Like, you're designing, when we design the game, when we're making every single card, we can't just be thinking about what are cards we want to play. We also got to think about the different formats that they get played in. So I know that we've had a lot of conversations that there are just cards that don't work in the competitive space, and then they turn into cards that work for casual. So what are some cards that you think about that are much better for casual play than they are for competitive? Maybe that's an easier question.
I think cards that are like, it's a difficult question to answer because it's, a part of it is subjective too for me. Because like, I would say a more casual card would be things like Shadow's Grasp. We kind of a bit harder to use, but it still has a lot of play. But I don't know. It's a difficult question for me to answer, to be honest.
So, looking at Shadow's Grasp, why do you think it's a difficult card to play in the competitive space? Like, what makes it more unstable to play with?
I would say mainly because of the awareness. Is the game is heavily focused to directly in front of the champion. There's a lot of close combat. So I think that's a part of the reason. The fact that you need to be further back and like have to think a bit more about how you're using it makes it a bit more interesting. I'm not sure because like you can disagree with me on this one, but that's where my mind is going at this point.
No, I think so too. Like, I definitely see that you don't see, when we had the championship, when we had the circuit tournaments, we didn't see anyone really playing with Shadow's Grasp. It wasn't a card that was brought into anyone's stack. There are other cards that were seen time and time again. We saw Bolt Shot a lot.
Tsunami.
We saw, pardon?
Tsunami.
Tsunami. Those are very solid cards. Cody, you played Rain OTK. There were a lot of cards in there that became staples afterwards.
Just remind me again, is Shadow's Grasp the one that brings an opponent from 2 squares in?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So one thing I do want to comment on is, as a result of that tournament, though, that card did become really important to me as a Rain OTK player, because that was actually one of the only ways to break the symmetry of a Rain OTK match, was to have Shadow's Grasp and draw the other Rain in next to you. So I do think that was an important card as a result of that tournament, though.
Yeah. So do you think it's a card that you'll see main boarded in a lot of competitive decks if you're playing Rain?
Honestly, I think that the window for it has passed now. I can tell you, if there were competitive tournaments right now, I would still be playing a Rain up until Raise comes out. With Raise, everything changes. So I'm not going to speculate on how great Rain's going to be after that. But I can tell you, yeah, that the window is basically closed now for that to be a good thing to be doing. Yeah, I think Rain's basically going to be neutered or kind of held at bay with Rays coming out. So I don't think Shadow's Grasp is going to be important anymore.
I don't know if she'll be neutered.
Way.
Yes, yeah, I was going to say there do be different styles of Rain players.
Sure, yeah.
Facts, definitely. Sorry to interject.
And JC, I know you design a lot of casual decks. You like to do things that are really out there. What are some of the cards that you think work really well for the decks you design, but maybe wouldn't see competitive play?
So I know one of the cards I look at a lot when it's coming to more the casual is probably anything that invokes the stack. So I'm looking at Foresight of the Ancients. It's a great card, but in that competitive game, you're not going to always be invoking the stack, because the more you invoke the stack, the more riskier it becomes to have it resolve to where you need to be. Other casual cards I've built with is something like Holy Suppression is great for the casual format to lock down maybe a summoner, but in the heat of battle in a one-on-one with someone, in that it can become a dead card because it only stuns a summon.
Yeah.
I think what really separates those competitive versus casual cards is like consistency. If you know a card has a function and it's gonna almost like 80% of the time have that function, I'm thinking something like Brook, for instance. You know when you're bringing it down, the chance of hitting it are pretty good. With those consistent cards, it allows for higher competitive play. But yeah.
So how come, like, a card that people are speculating or working with a lot moving forward is Landslide. Landslide is a card that's very, very consistent. How come you don't think we saw any of those in the championship? How come Axon was more heavily played than Thymos?
Go ahead.
I was going to say Axon, just with the support it had, you get into stuff like Epiphany, dedicated studies and that can forward into your tsunamis a lot quicker. And despite that Landslide does get the stun trigger, your best champion to play it is Idris at the time, and she kind of still likes to be back a little bit as well. Despite Malik, Fong, and Long able to play Landslide, it is much more devastating for them to play it to their aura, because now you're going at almost a third of their aura, where you could turn around and easily play 2 to 3 actual value summons for that same amount. And if they stay on the board for more than one turn, you've already paid for them in spades.
I think you brought up a really good point, JC, that the amount of support that Tsunami had versus Landslide, it was a big factor in it. I think also Axon had a pretty big spotlight during the tournament. Like, there was a lot of people talking about it and a lot of people playing with it. So if you're going to play with affiliations you're the most comfortable with, I feel, and you feel are the most stable. So I believe that's a big factor in why we saw tsunamis over landslides.
Yeah. Interesting. So there was a lot of support for Axon, but quite a few of the top tier decks didn't run Epiphany. Dedicated Studies was heavily played in almost every deck. But what I'm trying to think, like, what makes what really gave Axon the support? What outside of Dedicated Studies, was there some other critical thing do you think made Axon more competitive than the other affiliations?
I feel like, again, the support, because like it has the champions with the highest amount of aura available to them, and all the style of the champion, I feel, is played a factor. I also feel that just inherent, they have an inherent ability to get those cards more easily. Also, they have the ability for Chrono Walker, because we can't forget how good that card is. So that definitely to me, that's how I feel the push kind of went towards that. But again, I didn't actually play with the tsunamis super often, but that's just my speculations at this point.
Interesting.
Well, behind just the draw support, like Dedicated Studies is a great filter card at the end of the day. There's nothing wrong with a filter card in the deck, just to get rid of jank and look for stuff that you really need to be casting. We also have the support card of Teleport, which allows us to strike from any angle we need to. The moment that opponent then starts moving away from where they start, we now have the ability to teleport in and hit him from the best possible vantage point to deal out the most damage.
Mm-hmm.
At 13 aura, 12, 13 aura, 6 chi, you can't complain at just lining up one good attack out of nowhere.
Yeah. So we're talking about Axon being so strong, so valued in the championship. And we saw top place was Raha, second place was Nubia, third place we saw Rain. How come we didn't see Kendra?
Kendra is so
I like
Cody,
how that comment made Cody be like, no, I'm out. Like,
that was a natural cough, but compounded with a laugh. So
I think why we don't see Kendra very often is again, we don't have that. There's a few things she's missing over Rain. Is one, that awareness, that natural awareness that she has, and that 3 damage. 3 damage is amazing to hit on any champion. Yes, her Nurm ability can be annoying, but it is an action speed and very easily avoided as well. Despite she has all the aura, I would gladly turn around, jump into a Rain, take the less aura, have that energy reduction, and be able to use those filter cards without having to worry as much.
Lionel, I want to throw this to you because I know you've designed Kendra decks quite a few times, and they've never come to a stabilizing point. What do you think that Kendra's missing to play with her competitively?
I feel like she's missing. I'm gonna say it's consistency. Because like maybe not consistency is the word that I'm looking for. Let me just give me 1 second. Because Kendra, I feel once she gets into the thick of things, she has it's hard for her to get out of it if she needs to. And even if she does get out of it, then she just gives the opponent some time to build up even further. So it's kind of a bit difficult for me because like I'm notoriously bad for building decks and they don't always work out the first time. So I still need to work some more with her, but yeah. I hope that answered your question.
I'm wondering if she just gets geared too much with that Nurm ability. People honestly start thinking control as much as possible. Yeah. And maybe we're just building her wrong at the end of the day. We're saying we need a support card. It's a debate I've been having a lot now with getting into like Fong and all that. Where it's like, yeah, Fong seems like this fighter. 2 energy reductions. Like, Fong's amazing as a summoner done right. And maybe it's just that Kendra needs to go a different direction. And that Nurm is kind of that I'm going to start sealing the deal once you get in close to me and
That's
start
true.
taking away and
Yeah.
stripping you of what you have left.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point because I feel I've definitely fallen into the I don't know if you call it trap, but I would always use Kendra a lot of times, just teleport in and then start making them discard constantly. And traditionally, when that happens, I leave myself exposed because a lot of the cards are being used to do that. So maybe it's just the way that I was playing with her.
Interesting.
I feel like she's one of the more difficult champions to use, in my opinion.
Yeah, I remember back in beta, one of the things I used to play, or I used to argue with people, was that Rain was more of the control champion and that Kendra was actually more of a fighter. Because if you could get in close combat with your opponent really, really early with Kendra, then Nurm's hitting them for 2, which is the amount of fighter hits for, and making them discard 2 cards. So it's crippling them in 2 different fronts. You combo that up with a couple of Chrono Walkers, Tsunamis, dishing out a decent amount of damage. I think what she was really missing was I would love to see how she plays with Shadow's Claw. Shadow Claw giving her the speed and the aggression she needs to just be in your opponent's face.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Things would definitely been different.
Yeah.
The problem is Kendra just doesn't have the health to sustain very well, though, either. Coming in, 18 health?
19.
She will falter very quickly to someone who just, Nurm's great, but I'm sorry, if you're standing toe-to-toe with Nubia and she's double bolt-shotting right after that from her own ability, Kendra doesn't stand a chance, a ghost of a chance at that. It's just, I would rather Kendra be the slow play and wait for my opponent to start. Maybe Kendra needs to be the one who sits there and waits for the momentum of the game to start and then play off the momentum.
All right. Interesting. So I want to loop this back into the bigger question we have is we've talked about now a bunch of cards where we've looked at them at the competitive space, what they're missing, and we haven't really talked too much about what it's like for these cards in the casual space, but we touched on that a little bit. Let's talk about the bigger question, which is designing a game that is played both casually and competitively, and how does that change your approach as a designer? So the thing I really want to think about is when you're making a new card and you're making a card, do you actually think of the question, this card is going to be competitive or this card's going to be casual? And how does that change the way you approach designing that card?
It comes down to complexity at the end of the day. A casual card might have some form of complexity behind it, but not sometimes getting into those more, it might not just come down to complexity, some of it in that. For casual stuff, we'll see a bit more vanilla type creatures, French vanilla creatures, and something with a bit of more flavor behind it. But as we get into more competitive stuff, it is either the solid hitters or the just pieces at the end of the day. Designing that, it comes down to what we start designing in the set skeleton sometimes, and that what we're looking for in that, and working off of the tags we have for cards as well.
Yeah. Explain the term vanilla and French vanilla for people out there who may not know.
So vanilla is basically like, hey, cool, I have like an attribute ability, like attack of some kind, so I hit you with fire damage. French vanilla, we're starting to throw on like a resistance or something as well to protect it from damage as well. It's about the only difference between the two.
Yeah. So people who aren't super familiar with collectible card games, vanilla creatures tend to be creatures that all they have on them is an attack ability and a health. They have no other specialness to them. JC brought up the point, they have attributes. French vanillas have those kind of standard abilities that we see on creatures. Flight would be a French vanilla ability, so would resistances, weaknesses, things like that. Cody, I wanted to ask you, from playing a lot of competitive collectible card games in a bunch of different spaces, how do you identify a card as being like, this card's going to be good in the competitive space? Is it just a light bulb moment, or is there something you look for?
Honestly, that's a tricky question because a lot of it depends on like what the current state of the game and like the decks that people are playing look like. But a general rule of thumb that I think applies in most card games is like the more text it has, the better it is. Like the more stuff it does, sick. If you can barely read the text box on it, it's probably a house. Play it. Like, there's a specific Magic card I'm thinking of, Questing Beast. Like the old game used to be, oh, name like the 6 different things on Emrakul, and now it's like I can't even name like what Questing Beast has on it. It's just cards do everything these days. So when they do all the stuff, they're pretty good.
So you should fill your deck with No Man's Land. That has lots of text on it.
Is that flavor text on No Man's Land? Is it? I can't actually recall the card right now. It's
No, it was what the card basically does without reading all the text. Whenever a champion or someone enters that spot, anything that can target with its attack ability attacks it. So
yeah, but does it also have flavor text on it, or am I thinking of it?
so.
The flavor text is small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Purifying Wave is the one that like the mechanic text is like one line and the flavor text is the entire ball.
But no, I was just joking. But I totally get what you're saying, Cody.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So
in Genesis, like if it has 2 or 3 different abilities on it, you probably want to take a look at it. Don't just glance over it.
yeah. So something like Meteorite. Meteorite is like
Yeah. Oh man.
super competitive.
Flexibility. Ooh. Let's go.
It's interesting though because like going to a card like Purifying Wave, that card has like we said 0 small amount of ability text, but that's an amazing card.
It's going to be more amazing in Raid.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
I think there's just some staples
Yeah.
that exist in all card games. Just a few seconds. We still haven't got an answer for the trivia. So what were the 2 rares when Alpha first launched? We've seen Bolt Shot. We've seen a few other cards. No, Bolt Shot was not on that list. Neither was Cog. I'll give a hint. It was one of the rares was Bellum, and one of the rares was Chaos.
So guys, I gotta head out in that. I still have about 2 hours of work ahead of me in that for the day. So it was great seeing you all though, and I will touch base with everybody down in the next couple days or so, eh?
All right, cool. Thanks for
coming
joining
on.
us.
Nice seeing you, Cody. Nice seeing you, Sid and Lionel. We'll talk soon, eh?
Yep.
Take care, buddy.
So I like to wrap this up with kind of the thing for new players out there that are looking to jump into the competitive thing. There are a couple of cards that are staples, stuff like Purifying Wave, stuff like Epiphany. If you ever see cards that can give you advantage, things that can help you build momentum, those cards are usually seen as more competitive cards. But like Cody's thing, if you see a card with a lot of text, it may seem intimidating at first, but give it a chance. Read it through. See if you can do more with it. And the cards that are usually casual, those are cards that are unstable but can be very fun to play. Foresight of the Ancient we saw as a card that super fun to play in casual, may not see competitive play. Or Shadow's Grasp, which is a little bit of an unstable card, but can definitely do some really good damage. I see we have quite a few people who are playing, who are watching. If you leave a comment below, you'll be entered into a draw. So we only have 4 names so far. If you have not left a comment, just say hi, and I'll enter you into the draw. I'm going to wrap this up. Any last thoughts about this question?
I think one thing I want to mention is that designing for competitive also depends on the meta. I think Cody mentioned briefly about that when he was talking about it. So competitive actually, I feel, changes as well as the game develops.
So in that regard, I would want you to think about how does that change as a designer, as a game designer, as you see meta change? How does that make you reevaluate some of the cards? Hey, Jason, thanks for joining. You missed a lot. And Steve, Bolt Shot was not one of the first rares. Bolt Shot actually came, I think, in the 3rd wave of Alpha. We're talking about the first wave of Alpha packs. It was Bellum. Libraries of Sahas is not Chaos, so it was a Chaos rare and a Bellum rare. So the trivia question is still out there. Should I give another hint? What do you two think? Should I give more hints?
Yeah, hints are good.
Yeah, so the Bellum rare was a creature. Oh, it was a summon. And the Chaos rare was a spell.
Man,
Hint has, no, it was not a Bolt Shot or Angel. So, Taz and Jason have entered. Cool. Let's, Cody, any last thoughts as we wrap up the conversation?
Not really. Just thanks for coming out and supporting the game. Obviously, things are picking up a little bit, and I'm really excited for Raise. I've been doing a lot of editing on it. And, stay tuned. Keep coming back.
Yeah. I will be having some really cool announcements for Raise starting next week. We just need a few things in confirmation. So hopefully soon we'll be able to announce some really nice stuff. A few announcements as we wrap things up. A lot of Ontario is, I saw someone get one of them right. Taz, you're so close. You're so close. So as Ontario, a lot of parts of Ontario are moving towards phase 3. Make sure you're listening to what the stores are saying about their guidelines. Some of the stores are not allowing gameplay, some are. It comes down to the city bylaws. Make sure whatever the stores are saying, you're adhering to all their rules. I know Heads or Tails has been really, really great at putting very explicit rules on what you need to do when you enter, what you need to be wearing, how far apart you need to be playing. A lot of stores are putting up these guidelines. If you don't know, call ahead. But whatever the guidelines are, you make sure you're listening to them. But just trying to keep everyone safe here so that we can move from phase 3 to the end of COVID as soon as possible, right? We need to work together to make this happen. So even if you don't enjoy wearing masks, if at this point masks are necessary, I think in almost every county, even if you don't enjoy wearing them, just do it. Just do it. It's for the sake of everyone. So that's all I want to say about that. I think we're getting closer and closer to that answer. Yeah, Guardian of Balance. A lot of people are guessing that. Very, very close. But still missing. There it is. Taz got it. Guardian of Balance and Meteorite. That took a while. But yes, Guardian of Balance and Meteorite. And the funny part was, in those initial alpha packs, every single pack had 2 rares, and there were only 2 rares that existed. So either you got 2 Guardian Balances in it, or 2 Meteorites in it, or 1 of each.
The good stuff.
There are 18 card packs, and I think we only had the 2 rares. It was hilarious. Those are fun first packs. Good job, Taz, on getting that. I'll make sure you get your promo. It'll be the Zamber Dragon. I'll add it to your next Patreon package. Cody, do you want to talk a little bit about your show?
Yeah, sure. The next episode is on July 30th. It's episode number 5. That's at www.twitch.tv/goblincredible23. I'll type that out in chat in just a minute, or I'll ask Sid as I'm plugging away at it. And it's called Goblins Gaming Genesis. I run it every second Thursday. I have some guests, either from the design team or the Haunted Castle game team here. And sometimes we have some people playing Genesis on Tabletop Simulator. Lots of prizes to give away. That's the main thing. Come out and take my prizes because I'm giving them away anyways. So if you want free Genesis stuff, that's the place to get it. And you get a bunch of content at the same time. It's a really good time. So come check it out.
If you know people who are interested in the game but aren't quite, just want to check it out, hear about it first, this would be a great way to do that. I know you're giving away beta starter kit, right?
Yep, absolutely.
So that's going to be a thing coming up. And this is just a great way to get more content and learn more about the game and meet some of the people who are playing, right? So really excited about that one. Episode 5. It's pretty cool. All right, the other things, the apps, iPhone, Android, if you get a chance, please leave a review. Let my brother know how much you enjoy them. I know we tried to get that onto your show this week, but there were some technical difficulties.
We got through it.
Nice. Yeah, but if you get the opportunity, please leave a review on that app. The town hall, again, is going to be on August 3rd. That's going to be a conversation about what do you think we should be doing as a company to help the community grow, get more people out there. I want to hear ideas, contests, whatever you think would work best. Those are the things I want to start putting together. As always, not as always, but as I've mentioned in the past few weeks, we've started the streaming, the spoilers for Raise. So check out the website. Small thing, we've changed some of the criteria for Patreon. We do have higher tiers now, and we've had some people take advantage of that. So special shout out to Corey and to William for signing up to our top, higher tier Patreon packages, where they're now going to be getting additional promos and access to Vault promos, so old legacy promos. So if that's something you're interested in, we do have now Patreon tiers for that. And we have the painting contest. If you haven't heard about this yet, our painting contest registration is going to start July 27th. It's super cool. You're going to get a limited edition behemoth model to paint. You submit the photo, voting will happen, and then a bunch of prizes. Top place will be getting a bunch of booster packs, including raise packs and an alpha pack. So there's a lot of cool stuff to win there. If you have topics for next future live streams, let us know. Join us on Discord, and let's do the random draw winner. So I have here Jason, Taz, Alex, Devo, Katie, and Bradley. Thank you, everyone who's watched. I'm going to just shuffle these up here in front of everyone. I know Lionel and Cody have left comments below, and so has my wife, but at the same time, you know, not quite fair. So giving it out to our viewership here. Thank you, everyone. I'm just going to flip the top one. Does it look like I shuffled that fairly? Everything seemed fair, right?
It's all legit.
It's all legit. So top one, who's that? Steve-O.
Steve,
So
that wasn't
Nice.
extra promo and some packs. I'll be, next time I see you, Steve, I'll make sure I drop those. Bradley, you do get 3D printed of the model. More details, but go to the Genesis website. So genesisbattlechampions.com. On the top of the site, there'll be a painting contest tab. Just click on that for all the details. So that's everything for today. Thank you to all our Patreon members again. And next week we'll be talking about the learning curve of getting new people into the game. What do we do to try to make that a little bit easier? I'd love to hear suggestions from you of things we could be doing in the future to make things easier. And what do we do on the game design end to try to make it easier for new people to jump into the game? That's everything for this week. Thank you for joining us, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Take care.